Okay, I think we are good to go. So, hey all, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you're joining us from. Thank you for being here. I'm Nisha, a product marketer at SuperOps and your host for today. Joining me is Akhilesh, a product manager at SuperOps and the PSA visit. Hello, Aki.
Hey Nisha, and hey all, thanks for joining us today. I'm really excited for today on what's in store for this webinar.
Awesome. Okay, so before we get to the topic at hand, I want to talk a little bit about SuperOps and what we do, especially for the new folks here. So SuperOps is a unified AI-powered PSA RMM platform with IT documentation and project management built in. And we also have a new super cool RMM module that's launching tomorrow. And hint, it has something to do with networks. So keep your eye out for that. All right. So, and also, if you have any questions during the course of this webinar, please drop them in the Q&A box, and Aki or I will take them up at the end of in the Q&A session at the end of this webinar. And I do hope you have many questions when towards the end. All right. So before we go into the presentation, I'd love it if you folks could answer a few questions for me. Your answers to these questions will, set the stage for the rest of the presentations. So I'm launching the first poll now, and I hope you can see it and let me know if you face any trouble, seeing or answering the question. Okay, I think so we have all the answers we need to run this webinar. That's great. And this is how you're all voted. I hope you can see the results. Awesome. So thank you for your inputs. And now on to the presentation. And now we will know why we asked these questions in a short bit. Okay. All right. Okay. So this is the topic for today, 10x technician utilization with accurate time tracking from anywhere. So whatever we're going to talk about today is all going to be based on time and how you can use it effectively. And yeah, with the previous questions that we asked you, we want you to answer one final question since we are all dealing with time. Just one final question that we want you to answer, which is based on time. So this is the final one. Yep. This is the actual lead up to the webinar. Awesome. So I think the results right now will surprise you or maybe not. So this is how we have all voted so far. So none of you here who's voted record 100% of your time spent working, which brings me on to my next question. Unless you know how much time you spend working, you have no idea as to what your time economy is. So by time economy, okay, I think I'm not sharing my screen. All right, sorry for that. Okay, I hope you can all see my screen now. So by time economy, what I mean is how much time is a technician spending on an issue category, or a client. Now, why is this question important? Why is it something that you should know the answer to? Now, let's consider the three MSP KPIs, which are efficiency, operational efficiency, technician skill, and profitability. So why do I call these KPIs? This is because an MSP's day-to-day activity as well as future activities are based on these KPIs. Now let's take operational efficiency. An MSP is said to be efficient if they accomplish more tasks in less time. A technician is considered to be skilled in a certain domain if they consistently solve issues faster in that domain compared to other technicians. And the client is said to bring in more revenue for you and to be profitable for you if the revenue that they bring in for you is exceeds the cost that you incur for them. And by cost, I mean, the how much you pay your technicians in managing the services for those clients and other resources. So as you can see, everything is dependent on time. So in short, you can measure these three KPIs only when you track time accurately. But right now, what is stopping technicians, what is stopping MSPs from tracking and managing time? Because as we saw on the poll result, I don't think any of you is recording 100% of your time that you spend working every day. So we found out two reasons to it from the MSPs we have spoken to. The first is lack of awareness. MSPs actually don't know how much time they're letting slip through the cracks, and by that losing out on the revenue that time could potentially bring in if they bill those hours. And the next is painfully disjointed time tracking. So most of your MSPs would be using a PSA tool, and those PSA tools probably have a timer built in. So when a technician opens a ticket to start working on it, there's a timer that gets triggered automatically. So time is tracked associated with that ticket. But what about all the job that happens outside of a ticket? Say a technician could be, reading up on a new service that they need to provide for a client, or doing documentation, or when they're on a field visit, they go to fix one issue and they end up fixing five issues instead. So all the work that happens outside of a ticket right now doesn't get tracked. Most time tracking works only within a ticket. So the result is that you lose out on the potential revenue that this untracked time could bring in. Okay. So, and there's also you could probably integrate a time tracking solution that is available in the market, like, Toggle or something with your existing PSA tool. Like, I think that's what Synchro has done. Synchro has an integration with Toggle. But again, in this case, you literally end up toggling between, Synchro and Toggle to track time. So you track time in Toggle while you work in Synchro. And again, for invoicing and stuff, you go back to Synchro. So there's a lot of back and forth happening, and you lose a lot of time in tracking time, which defeats the entire purpose of a time tracking tool. Okay, so is there a solution for it? Right now, there isn't. And the problem is that technicians ballpark time. So, what happens when technicians ballpark time? When time is ballparked, the three KPIs are also ballparked. So, efficiency is ballparked, a technician skills are ballparked. Like, you don't exactly know which technicians are skilled in what and which technician to assign for a certain job based on skills. And your client profitability is ballparked as well. So unless you track time accurately, you'll never know the answer to these questions. How efficient are you? How skilled are your technicians? And how profitable are your clients? So this is what we are introducing today. An industry first easy time tracking solution called SuperOps Smart Tracker. So our intention is to make you stop ballparking, start time tracking, and make every hour that you work pay. So why do we call it smart tracker and not just time tracker? This is because smart tracker goes beyond just simple time tracking from anywhere. And by anywhere, I mean, on your phone, wherever you are on your site visit, and also anywhere on the web, even if you're not working within the PSA platform. So with this smart tracker, you not just track time, but you also know where your time is going currently, how effectively are you using your time correctly, and it also gives you suggestions as to how better you could use your time so that your MSP becomes profitable. All right. So this is what you get with Smart Tracker. Basically, you can just track time accurately from anywhere at the click of a button and not just within tickets. That's the point to note. So with accurate time tracking, you know which technicians are skilled in what, because based on their time utilization for certain type of issues, you'll be able to find out if technician is more skilled at certain domains, like switches or networks or whatever. And with inaccurate time tracking, you can also run into, billing discrepancies. I think as some of you voted, 63% of you have occasional billing disputes with your clients, because it's a case of, he said, she said, without accurate time tracking. Your clients could say that, a technician spent only 2 hours fixing an issue, while the technician could say, no, they spent 3 hours. So there's a dispute when it comes to billing. And you also get to, improve your operational efficiency in real time. Most of the solutions out there offer, retrospective reports as to, how efficient your operations are. Like, you can pull up reports from the past week or the past day and see where your time went. If in case you have a PSA solution, or you've integrated your solution with a time tracking tool. But with Smart Tracker, you can see where your time is going in real time. And you can just, drop your negative profitability clients based on, how much time you spend on them versus the revenue they bring you. And one more USP with accurate time tracking from anywhere is that it has a compounding effect on your profitability. Say with accurate time tracking, you get more billable hours per tech for a client. And with this, you can get more revenue per client because you're increasing the billability for one client. So you get more revenue per client. And this goes across clients. So with more revenue, your profitability goes up. And with that increased profitability, you can hire more techs and get more clients. And those extra clients in turn bring you more profitability, and the cycle keeps going on, thereby compounding your overall MSP profitability. Okay, so that's about Smart Tracker's value proposition. Now I think I'll hand the stage over to Akhilesh for the product demo. Akhilesh, the stage is yours, and let me stop sharing.
Perfect. Thank you, Nisha. And thank you so much for setting that context. And let me directly jump into the demo because a lot of you must be waiting to see what we have done with to drive these outcomes that Nisha just mentioned. And one of the things that maybe I have to set the scene with how we started with this problem in itself is we realized, yes, MSPs are tracking. When I'm talking to a lot of MSP owners, they're trying to track, let's say, efficiency, utilization, profitability, and there are tons of tools which gives you all these reports. But when I double click on it and I ask MSPs about how efficiently are they using those reports, are those reports actually giving you what you need? Are you able to drive impact with those reports in your business? The answers started revealing something else. And initially, we thought the problem was with the reports, but not really. The reports are actually showing what's happening on your service desk. But the problem was with the data. And that's when we realized it is great that SuperOps also can start giving profitability reports, efficiency reports, and all of that. And we can just latch it onto the tool and say, hey, track it. But however, the way we solve things at SuperOps is not just launch features, but launch value that will empower MSPs to grow. So we realized rather than just launching a report, we have to enable the MSP ecosystem to first track the right data for you to make right decisions from those insights that you're getting. So to start with, what we did is when we started researching, these are all the questions actually Nisha asked, the same questions we asked a lot of MSPs. And then we realized one of the things we realized is technicians are ballparking time, or sometimes they forget to track time. Sometimes they are completely oblivious to the fact that they have to track time, and they think it's anywhere included in the contract, and maybe I can just ballpark it. Why should I track accurate time and etc.? So all this is happening among the technicians, and there's nothing to blame because they are super busy, and time tracking is very frictionless with all other tools, and that is the root cause of this is what we realized. So that's when we analyzed, first of all, for the data to be accurate, for you to be running great operations, you need to enable technicians to track time and log time very effectively and easily. That's the goal that we embarked on. So let's say in SuperOps, you go ahead and look into a problem that came from a particular client. Immediately, let's say someone's calling you and saying, "Hey, my server is down." You are not going to worry about, first I have to go ahead now. Okay, someone's saying their server is down, the whole business is down. I'm going to now create a ticket. This is what every other tool asks you to do. Rather, as a technician, what you would want to do is directly get into the server and start troubleshooting, right? So this is where we realized is to make sure that rather than giving you the friction of filling up a form, a ticket, then start tracking time, etc., we said, hey, when your clients face a problem, just jump into it, and wherever you are, you can just initiate a time saying that, let's say, server reboot, or server. I can just say that this is just a server issue for PSN, who's my client, and just start time. no ticket, nothing, and one click, I have started tracking time. Now I can go ahead and start troubleshooting, see what's happened on the server, what's really going on, and find maybe the recent logs that I'm looking into and understand what's going on. And then maybe this is one case. Sometimes life doesn't revolve only within the SuperOps platform, is what we realized. Sometimes you go outside the platform, when somebody says server is down, you find something in the event log and it's a Linux server and it's saying kernel panic or something like that. Maybe I'm not the best at it. Immediately, what I would do is actually go ahead and start troubleshooting it. So that is why many times when you are actually working away from SuperOps, the PSA system, that's when we realized many times the technician is always not in the PSA, and there is a gap in tracking time there as well. So we said, hey, the time tracking should follow wherever the technician goes. So let's say this is another technician who's asking about a kernel panic happening on their Linux servers. I was already working on this particular thing, and I was figuring out something, but immediately I jumped onto doing something, and I need to track time, but I'm not even inside the SuperOps ecosystem. Fret not, wherever you are, our timer is going to follow you. As you can see, we have a Chrome extension. So all I can do is, okay, I'm moving on to the other server issue, which is for Linux. And I can say Linux issue for Acme. And wherever I am, I can just make sure that I keep tracking time. So this is another place where our timer follows you. But that's not it, guys. So the best part is we also realized it's not just about tracking time only in your desktop or when you're in front of your workstation. Tracking time also happens when you're on the move, and that's what we have realized. And like how your SuperOps time tracker and our Chrome extension is in sync, what's going on? Let's say I started tracking the time for troubleshooting this Linux issue, but suddenly I have to go on site and I'm on the move and I want to track time for that or make sure that I'm not tracking any additional time, etc. Even if you're on the move, we have released an amazing mobile widget, like you can see on my screen. This is my mobile screen, and we have a mobile widget clearly showing you what are you actually tracking as time, and you will be able to look into it. And let's say if you are not doing that particular work, maybe I can just pause and start another time saying I'm on site with, let's say, a particular client, etc. Right? So I'm on site with A and just hit start time. That's about it. And the widget will be tracking that particular time right now. So this is exactly how we have made sure that tracking time is super easy. And wherever you are, be it inside SuperOps, be it outside SuperOps, on your workstation, or if you're on the mobile and on the move, time tracking has become a click away. And no friction, no forms, no tickets. If there is a ticket, of course, inside a ticket, you will be tracking time, and all of those functionalities still exist. Don't fret. The fundamental way of working always exists inside SuperOps. But however, we wanted to take a different take, saying that let's remove the friction away from time tracking. That's what exactly we did. Now, in the course of this demo, as you can see, I have actually started tracking multiple times without tickets, and a time that I'm already tracking for a ticket, and there's a time that's already running. So how do technicians even manage these? Now, if you are making it so easy, we have to make sure that we empower the technicians with the right tools to manage all of their times and log them as work for your business. So that's why we have introduced an amazing timesheet, which is available for all your technicians, where they can look into all the timers that's going on. Then I can say, okay, this seems fine. I actually was working on this particular ticket. I can just log it as a work log and it'll go in. And this particular troubleshooting Linux issue for Acme that I tracked, now I have to just make sure that there is a corresponding ticket. If it's already there, I can just go ahead and log it against a ticket. Or if I have to create a ticket on the fly, then I can just choose to go ahead and create a ticket on the fly as well. And as you can see, you will see for what time are you creating this ticket. This was a server issue for PS Inspector, so I'm just going to make sure I log the right ticket for PS Inspector for the server issue and all the work that was done. So making sure what we have done with this is we have made sure that time tracking is a click away. After that, you have a very nice timesheet where a technician is not held up with a lot of grunt work about tracking time. They can just go about their day's work, and all they have to do is make sure that they are keeping track of their time from wherever they are, and then come to the timesheets and just go ahead and associate the right work items that they need, tickets, projects, etc., and hit add work log. It's going to go in. So that is how we have democratized time tracking, and now it's going to be super easy and right behind a click wherever you are. But that's the first part of it. Now, let's say as a technician, I'm logging time, and the ideal way of how SuperOps technician works today is at the end of the day, they come to this my timers in my timesheet and make sure all the times are accounted for. And if I want to maybe make some edits as well, I can make those edits, etc., and then log them as work logs. But also, what we wanted to empower technician with is not only just making tracking time easy, but empower them with making sure whatever they are logging their time as, how they have contributed time to their business is completely in their control, and they are empowered to see that and make necessary adjustments accordingly. Let's say in your business, if you have, let's say, a certain amount of time the technician has to log, let's say 20 hours, 30 hours a week, etc. Now, of course, they would have to log for all the tickets that they are working on. Sometimes, even after providing this best of time tracking, sometimes reality can hit. I can sometimes miss out on tracking time. Maybe I was on site and I worked on a parallel issue and I didn't log time, etc. So all this can also happen. So that's why in our timesheet, we have given a nice calendar view where at a week level, at the end of the week, I can just come as a technician and then quickly look into, okay, where did I work for this particular week? And all the time that we're logging today is right here. What did I do yesterday? What did I do on Monday? And where are all these times? And how much time have I contributed for the week? Everything is in one single screen itself. And let's say I'm spotting saying that Wednesday seems off because I'm pretty sure I work for a full 8-hour day and 2 on-site visits, and I have logged only 5 billable hours. Then I can also hit view calendar. The best part is it'll clearly tell me when I did work on what kind of issue. And then I can clearly see a gap saying, oh, yes, 4 to 5, I was on site with a particular client. I've totally forgot to log time here. And I can just add a time entry on the fly. And that's how amazing SuperOps is, where we have not only made time tracking easy, but we have empowered technicians to keep a track of what they have logged and also jog their memory to make sure that they are never missing out on tracking time for the business. So this is what a technician does in SuperOps. And I can see that there are a lot of questions coming in as well. And I'm just going to maybe take that if it's related to this journey and maybe park a few if I'm going to already show that. Um, and I think there is a question from Richard saying, what happens if you set a time and forget to stop it? Can this be modified after? Yes, Richard, you do have an edit option. So you can modify it later. And also, if your question is coming from the fact that sometimes you have parallel timers running and you forget to stop all this time and you have to edit, don't worry, we have actually covered that. For example, let's say I am already working on this particular issue, right? And I go ahead and start another timer in some other work that I was pulled inside, right? So when I start this time, as you can automatically see, that time was automatically paused and this time got activated. So by default, let's say we'll make sure that one timer is running for you and all other times are auto pause based on where you're working. But on top of that, if you want to make edits, etc., yes, you can still do it. And Joseph is asking, is the mobile widget available for iOS and Android? Yes, absolutely. If you have the super ops, just go to your widget section. You will find the widget for both Android and iOS, Joseph. And we also have another question. Is there an Edge extension release date? Let me get back to you on that because we have a link for the Chrome extension today that we are going to share with all the webinar participants here. But we have also make sure that since Edge is operating on the Chromium platform, the extension will work there as well. So let me take that as a question that we can get back to you on what link you should use to install that, or you can use the same link as well. That is something that I'll confirm on for those questions. Perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Richard,
Nisha, please go ahead.
I think Richard has asked if they can get a recording of this call after the event. Yes, absolutely. We'll be sending across the recording right after the event gets over.
Awesome.
Right.
That's great. So that is time tracking and how amazing a technician can track time, use timesheet to look at all the times that they are working on and log them as work logs and look at all the work logs that they have logged and what they have contributed to the business. And this way we have made sure time tracking is super easy. But now we are going to elevate the game a little bit and we are going to look at the service desk managers or owners who are actually managing these technicians. Now, for them, it's about ensuring that technicians are logging time properly, contributing to the billable hours. And I also want to understand, am I maximizing on my billable hours resources that is available? And also, many a times, one of the interesting facts that we got when we spoke to a lot of MSP owners and managers is they realize retrospectively saying that, hey, last month, a particular technician worked on a server reboot for 4 hours, but ideally it shouldn't have taken that much time. And how can we, train the technicians on these things, etc. But all these are retrospective, and when the damage has already happened. So that is why now the unique point of super ops, which we invented here, is the all timesheets that you are seeing, where not only I can see the work logs, which I'll get into a little bit, but where SuperOps is differentiating among all other tools out there is I can have a view as a manager. If I'm managing a team, only my team's timers will be there. If I'm the owner, everyone's timer will be there. So I will have a live view of who's working on what. I can clearly see, let's say Srinidhi is working on a user onboarding for the past 8 hours. That should definitely not be the case. Maybe I just have to quickly look into what the issue is and ask Srinidhi maybe pause time, ask him what's going on. Have you forgotten to track, a pause time? It should not have taken that much long. Or sometimes you can spot live saying that someone's working on a server issue for more than an hour, but on average, your turnaround for tickets is just 30 minutes. And why are they stuck? Why are they tracking so much time? So you get a live view of what's going on in your help desk. And all you have to do is just come here and look into all the timers that's running across your technicians, and you will know what are they currently working on. And if you're spotting any operational inconsistencies by looking at this itself, right then and there, you can go ahead and have a conversation and fix it, rather than figuring out at the end of the month or a quarter saying, oh, last month something like this happened, right? So this is how we are differentiating how we can efficiently run operations in SuperOps. But this is on the one side on a daily basis, right? A manager could be looking at this view. But another, let's say, responsibility for a business owner or a manager is to understand how are my resources utilized, and is it on the right track? How can I make sure my star technicians' resources billable hours is utilized at the maximum level compared to an intern? How do I analyze these as the week progresses? Of course, I can get all this retrospective data at the end of the month or a quarter, but while this week progresses, how can I understand saying how much each technician has contributed? Why is this particular technician not contributed at all? And maybe if I realize that my star technician is actually maxed out and utilization is already going up, is there anything? What are they working on? One click, I'll get to know what are they working on, and I'll be able to understand what's going on. I can get the same calendar view for that particular technician right on the screen, so that I can understand what's going on among my technicians. How are they utilized as the week progresses? And should I make some adjustments here? Is my star technician working on a basic server reboot? Maybe I should put to a technician who I'm paying, let's say like an intern or something, so that our overall profitability is actually better that way. And also, maybe you also can look into the client utilization as well. Let's say if you're providing services to the client, as the week progresses, you can actually see how much of your resources is utilized across your clients. And let's say you know that, yeah, Winterfell is one of my largest clients and they're utilizing a lot of hours already for today or this week. It should make sense to you. But let's say Acme is not even in your topmost plan, and they are not even your managed client. Or let's say they are managed client and in your basic light plan or the lowest plan, but you suddenly see they are utilizing a lot of time, then immediately you jump on it and understand saying, what's going on with Acme? Is there any issue? Why is this technician logging a lot of time on Acme's tickets? What's going on? Oh, looks like Acme is onboarding a lot of new employees this time, and that's why all this time is going. Make sure that this is billable and you're getting the money, etc. Right? So this is how we are giving not just a live view of all the timers that's going on, but as you are run operations on in a weekly basis, as a manager, I can quickly look at utilization on how my resources are split among all the work that's done, that's across technicians and clients, right? So this is what we have done with Smart Tracker, where we have rolled out a value for technician where they can easily go ahead and track time and log things. Now, as a manager and an owner who's running operations, now you have a dashboard where you can keep things in control with a real lifetime view. But I'm pretty sure there are a lot of owners in this webinar talking about all this is great, or how can I make decisions for my business using this? So that's exactly what we are going to wrap this webinar with, because as you can see, I have made sure that tracking time and operations is smooth. But as an owner, while I have empowered my managers and technicians to do this, I have to make decisions based on efficiency and utilization so that I am a profitable MSP or going towards the goal of profitability. So that is how we'll wrap up the smart tracker. What I showed you is already live in our product. And what I'm going to show you is what we are currently working on, which we'll launch along so that this will latch onto it, is our reporting for smart tracker. What we do with that is, let's say you're running a very tight operation with the help of smart tracker. Now I would be able to go ahead and look into, as a owner, a great efficiency dashboard. Now, what does this efficiency dashboard tell me is I can choose first a time frame saying, okay, let's see how my business performed from last month, last quarter, half yearly, or yearly. I can do that for anything, right? I can choose a time frame right here and understand saying, okay, for last month, I have spent 100 hours on the whole. That's how my resource has been utilized among 251 tickets. And who are my top 20 clients who used up these resources, right? So I can look into it and against how many tickets. So I can even see with less number of tickets, am I actually, my resources are going a lot for this particular client or clients, or similarly, maybe I'm having a lot of tickets, but I'm not spending that much time. So you can always find these outliers, what's going on, etc. right from this itself, understanding how are my resources utilized among my clients. And this is of course top 20, but if you're already thinking about, I would like to actually get this data for all my clients, don't worry, you can just go ahead and click view all clients utilization, and you are going to get the list of all your clients on how much time have you spent for this time frame across how many tickets. So this will give you a good idea of how your resources are being utilized and what you can do about that, etc. So that is one part of it. But however, this resource utilized is useful when you tie that along with efficiency. And what do I mean by efficiency? Is how efficient you are in handling all these issues that are coming to your MSP. And why are we looking at efficiency along with utilization? Is if your clients are managed, the lesser time that you spend with them, the more profitable you are, right? So, and the lesser time you spend with them, more profitable you are with the existing client. But your pool of billable hours also grow, so you can sell those hours to somebody else as well. So that's an avenue for you to grow and become again more profitable. So let's say if you are an MSP at a 500K revenue and you're planning to go to 1 mil, and if you're an MSP at a 1 mil range planning to go to 3 mil, etc., the way you should be thinking is how can I maximize my efficiency and utilization so that as a business, I'm going towards that goal. And this is exactly what we wanted to do in SuperHouse. Rather than building saying, here are 10 profitability reports, enable the product ecosystem itself to track time, manage operations, and give you a report on utilization and efficiency where the baseline metrics that we will use for efficiency is average time spent across your company and the resolution time for all the work that's coming in. And based on this, we will start tracking your clients saying, who's your top 10, let's say, efficient client, and who's your bottom 10 efficient client. And based on this, you will kind of understand saying, who are my best clients, where I'm really efficient with them, and who are my clients who's utilizing a lot of time from me and my efficiency is really low with them. And this is where you want to really fix and work to bring your baseline down so that you become very profitable. And we'll be launching this as well, where I can look into, let's say, a top 10 clients or bottom 10 clients and understand who are they. Or if I want a complete ranking of all my clients, then you can choose to do that as well, where I can quickly look into how my clients are ranked and how efficient are they compared to my baseline. So all of this will be coming in. If you're already wondering right now, wow, that's a lot. So what do I do with this, right? So what do you do with this is you have to understand what's happening with your best client and your least efficient clients and try replicating that with your least efficient client. How do you do that is when you can actually drill down saying, okay, I want to make sure I want to understand what's happening with Acme because they seem to run 50% below my average efficiency. Then I can go ahead and say, Super Ops, give me what's going on in Acme. That it's immediately going to give me saying that, hey, for the time frame you chose, Acme raised these kind of issues, and these are all the types of issues that came in, and how well did we perform in those issues in terms of time spent and average time per ticket, etc. Now, from here, I can look into those issues and understand two things. Maybe I'm performing very poorly whenever a printer failure issue comes from Acme because Acme's environment is really bad, and I need to have a conversation with Acme to fix their printer environment so that I can improve my efficiency. Or maybe it's the education of my technician, because my technicians are not skilled enough to handle this issue. That's why it's bringing down. It's maybe a particular technician. So I can look into that and immediately have a conversation with the technician. Or if it's an overall category, I can create a standard operating procedure or a run book and make sure that I bring some standardization there so that I can keep bringing these efficiencies down. So this is how we will ensure that it's just not about time tracking. It's just not about running operations. It's also how once you start tracking accurate data, you get accurate insights on your efficiency and utilization and what kind of insights you can take to keep bringing your baseline down and grow as an MSP, and most importantly, a profitable MSP, right? So that's something I wanted to share today with what's up in Smart Tracker. And if are there any questions, any thoughts, do you feel this will be useful? And if you have any thoughts on should you see more data in this report, etc., fire away in this chat, and we would love to have a discussion on that as well on everybody who's part of this webinar. While you're doing that, I also wanted to add some context saying this is all great. Where are you headed? This is amazing, but where are you headed as a PSA, as a vision, etc.? So the vision that we want to do is we realize every MSP has a goal that they are working towards. Be it, like I said, 500K to 1 million, a profitable MSP with a EBITDA of 20%, 1.5 to 3 million. There is a journey that every MSP is walking. Or for all you might know, there is a lifestyle MSP where they are very happy with what they are making, but they want to sustain operations. But somewhere there is always a goal. So what we realized we should do is not just latch on report and ask MSPs to figure out and pay tens of thousands of dollars to consultants to figure these things out. So the vision for SuperOps PSA is we have launched Smart Tracker, where time tracking has become accurate, running operations has become very optimal, and now you can take decisions based on efficiency and utilization. And after this is when you will be applying all this data to your contracts and start reading profitability. And with both of these together, you would be able to drive insights for growth and profitability based on your goals. So that's exactly how we are stitching this whole journey and taking you through so that we can be part of your integral growth. And that's a quick overview of Smart Tracker.
Okay, so Akhilesh, I think that brings us to the end of our presentation.
Awesome.
So yeah, the stage is open for Q&A, so people please fire away. Do you have any questions that you'd like us to answer with regards to this module or as to the general direction that we are taking?
Yeah, or any other questions with regards to the PSA of SuperOps, do fire away and we would be happy to answer those as well. And if it's RMM related, you can feel free to. I'll make sure that we can take that question back and get back those answers. But PSA, you're gonna get it.
All right, Mike has commented that he loves it, and thank you, Mike. Thank you for loving it, and I hope you really explore and enjoy this module.
Perfect. Thank you, Mike. And do start using this. And we will also launch these reports, like I showed, very soon. So if you already start using our Smart Tracker and the timesheets, etc., when we add the reports to your account in a few weeks, you'll already start seeing data flowing in, and you'll be able to start taking these decisions as we discussed. Thank you so much, Mike.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you. And I've also dropped the Chrome extension link from where you can install the extension in the chat. So please use that to start tracking time from anywhere. Okay, so I think we are wrapping up early in keeping with the theme of, using time diligently. So
Yeah. And Nisha, I think there is also another question. One is Richard, thanks for liking it so much. And there's a question from Marco on thank you for letting us know that it's really good functions and we are headed in the right direction. Thank you, Marco, for giving that validation. And you also asked any idea or plan on time frame with possibly integrating scheduling along with this. You are thinking right, Marco. That's exactly where we are headed. We have already started work on scheduling for this quarter, and we are aiming to launch scheduling as well as part of the complete journey that we discussed towards the end of this quarter. That's what we are aiming. We can even start, giving more closer timelines and also more accurate deadlines to you, maybe in a couple of weeks as well. So do reach out to us. And if you are interested, do reach out to us, me or Nisha, and or I can reach out to you where we can also show you a quick sneak peek of what's coming, and you can let us know if you really like that as well. But yes, thank you so much for asking that question. Though for others' interest as well, the goal and the way we are looking at scheduling is um, the way once we have scheduling in place inside SuperOps, it's not just about integrating with Outlook. Yes, we are going to do that. We will have a two-way sync with Outlook, and you will have a dispatch calendar where you can easily dispatch events among your technicians, how you can manage your on-site visits, and technicians themselves will have a nice calendar to plan their day, etc. But how the smart tracker and scheduling comes together, maybe Marco, you're already thinking in that angle, is when I said as a technician, actually, I can look at all my work log and look at understand saying, have I logged all my work? Along with looking at my work log, I'll also start seeing my events in this calendar. So I can actually know, oh, looks like 12 to 1, I was on site and I have no corresponding work log. I maybe totally forgot. So you will have a complete ecosystem coming in by the end of this quarter itself. And that's exactly what we are aiming, Marco. Thank you so much for that question, though.
Okay, and so we have another question from Joseph. Is there any plan to allow us to purchase PSA only licenses along with super licenses?
Got it. Joseph, if your question is if you want to, let's say, have one instance and few technicians on Super and few technicians on PSA, I'm afraid that is not possible. It's at an account level. An account can be in one single plan, and we cannot split technicians for the same account in different plans. But however, if there is a specific need and there is a specific concern on how you want to drive outcomes for your business, don't worry at all. We would never want any friction in you adopting our tools. So just reach out to us and we will have a conversation with you and see what's the best that we can help you to make sure that we can find a middle ground on how these tools can be adopted for your business and your outcomes that you are looking to generate. Joseph, feel free to do that. Reach out to us and we'll be happy to help.
Okay, are there any more questions?
Yeah, we are getting more.
Yep. Can technician submit a ticket for himself?
Great. I'm not sure about the context of this question. Maybe you can feel free to add more context to this. If a technician can submit a ticket for themselves, so most likely every ticket has to be, let's say, to a client, because whenever you are logging some work, you are logging, let's say, to a particular, let's say, client, and that's how you can track it against a contract and also look into efficiencies, utilization, profitability, and all of that. But you can also actually create a ticket just with a client, and you don't need to per se mention who it is, a requester or so. Maybe if it is about doing some non-billable work and an internal work, and you would like to track that as well, we have a couple of workarounds. So you can even actually have an internal client, and you can just track time against that. There are multiple ways of actually going about that. Maybe if you can reach out to our support team with a particular scenario, our support chat is always inside the product. We would be able to help you with an exact solution on how you would like to go about it based on what you're looking to achieve.
Okay, Mansi, so I hope that answers your question. Any more questions? Okay.
Awesome.
All right, so I think that brings us to the end of this session. I hope you enjoyed it. And with all this talk about time, I hope this session was worth your time. So you'll have a survey when the webinar ends. Please make sure to answer it. And I hope you enjoy exploring Smart Tracker and seeing profitability grow for your MSP. So thank you. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you for joining us today. And you'll be sent the recording very soon, as soon as it finishes processing. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you for your time today.